Hey
Hi.
Cindy,
Hey.
how are you?
I feel awful. Like yesterday, no, like the day before, the little baby was born, the baby
Hmm.
puppy, and yesterday the puppy dead. The puppy's dead. Like
Oh,
I don't know what happened. Like it's just oh,
yeah, sorry to hear that. That sucks.
depressing.
And let's see, how many days of quarantine do you have left?
Like 4 days. Oh, finally.
Yeah, that's good at least, getting closer.
Yeah, but I feel so sorry for the mommy dog. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's crying and looking for her baby. So
Oh,
mm.
that's that is so. Ooh, dogs.
Oh,
I don't know. Have you ever seen that movie, A Dog's Purpose?
Dog's Purpose? What movie is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a kid's movie, but anyways, it's about a dog that dies and comes back to life each time. And this is totally off topic, but each
Oh,
time I see
mhm.
that movie, I cry like a baby. It just makes me very sad to think about.
So when it comes to like dog something, then like, because I really love dogs, like, and that's just like so heartbroken.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I guess bright side, quarantine is almost over. That's got to be good at least.
Yep.
Do you have any plans for like your first day out, your first day free?
Nothing new. Oh my God, dog is barking.
Oh, yeah, that's my dog downstairs. Ugh, wonder if she loves my mom the most, and so sometimes she'll bark when she sees my mom's car in the driveway, but
My
she's
dogs
not out
too.
there. So I don't know what she's barking at. So,
Oh, that's kind of creepy. Like sometimes like dogs look at walls and just bark. Oh, is there a ghost or something?
oh, I hope not. Yeah. Honestly, this is way off topic, but sometimes I think there might actually be a ghost in my house.
What?
Um,
Why?
there are a few different reasons, and so when we were kids, the doors used to like open and shut randomly to my sister's room. And then we have like an electronic ornament on our Christmas tree. And
Mhm.
so sometimes it'll just like turn on without anyone touching it. And then we also had a picture frame fall one time. Um, I don't know, just like random creepy stuff. It could just be coincidence, but
You should move your
my
house.
mom is the funny thing is my house isn't even old. Like I think we're the only people to have lived here. So I don't know where a ghost would be coming from. I don't know. My mom believes in that stuff. She watches all the scary movies, and I
Oh
think
my
sometimes it gets to
goodness.
my head.
That's so
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Mm,
Hey,
How
not
do you
me. I
feel?
think it's just a coincidence, probably. I don't know. If I think
I
that
hope so.
this is kind of, yeah. Sometimes, like, my mom or my sister, they'll get scared. They'll think a ghost is in the house, and so I will just yell at it to go away. So I like to
Mm.
think that it listens to me and that I'm in charge. I
You're the
don't know if
boss
it's
of the
real or
ghost.
if that's true. Yeah, I in my head I am. Maybe not really, but
That's, I
yeah.
want your mental health. Like you're really good, like cause I like I'll cry if that happens to me. I'll be like, oh no, mom, we should move to another house. This is not a proper place to live in. Like,
Yeah. My mom is
oh.
very funny. She's like, if it is a ghost, it's probably friendly and you're just being mean to it for no reason. And I'm like, well,
Friendly ghost.
the ghost doesn't yeah, like it doesn't pay rent, it doesn't give us any money, it doesn't pay bills, right? Why should it live here? You gotta contribute some money to live in the house, ghost or not.
Casper's the
Okay, sorry,
only
I got
like
way off
friend.
topic. Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. I got way
No.
off topic. So back to SAT,
Mhm.
the normal, non paranormal stuff. Um, did you get a chance to look over that answer key for questions? I think it was what, 7 through 10? Does that sound right?
Yes, 7 through 10. But I asked Miss Linda, and then she said, "Oh, I'll give it to you," and then she didn't give it to me.
Oh, okay. Here, we'll look up the answer key real quick, and then we can go over any questions that you might have missed or you thought were confusing.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. I was just looking at it earlier today, actually, so it's easy to find, which is good. Okay, so here it is, 7 through 10.
Oh my goodness, I got it all wrong. What? No, I was like 100% sure I was right.
Mhm. You're looking at this one, right? The reading test? Left side, not the right? Okay.
Oh, I got
We'll
one
go through
right.
the questions. Sometimes it happens. Oh, which one did you get?
Number 8.
Yeah,
Number
nice.
number 8.
Okay. So we'll go through all of them, but we'll pay special attention to 7, 9, and 10. Oh, 8 was a vocab question. That's
Oh.
good. Means you know your vocab for sure, so it's always a good
Mhm.
place to be. Okay. So 7, the narrator indicates that he pays Simpere. Okay, so what do you remember about the money that he
The
gives to the
money,
bookseller?
the
Hmm.
the bookseller doesn't want the narrator to pay the money.
Okay, good. But what about the narrator? Does he still try to pay anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does he pay with? We can actually scroll back and look at it.
He paid with
Here it is, coins.
leave the coin.
Hmm. So is he paying as much money as the book costs, or is he paying less than what it would normally be?
Less than normal people.
Hmm. And so that's what we want to keep in mind as we answer this question. So he does pay just less than normal. Okay? So A does say less, and so we'll keep that one in for now. Nothing, we can eliminate that one because we know he does at least pay some money. C, the money he makes selling sweets to the other children. It doesn't mention that he sells sweets. Actually, he buys sweets with the money from his dad. Or D, much less for the books and their worth. So both A and D look pretty good. They both mention paying less. Here's where they're different. This says that Simpere expects him to pay for the books. So what does it mean if you expect something from someone?
To pay, like expect,
Hmm.
like expect to pay. Like,
Yeah. So if you expect someone to do it, uh, expect someone to do anything, it means that you really want them to do it, like you need them to do it, and if they don't do it, maybe you get a little bit upset or angry. So when you go
mm,
to a restaurant in the US, you're expected to give a tip to your waiter or waitress. And if you don't meet that expectation, they're probably going to be a little frustrated with you. And Simpere, he's a pretty nice guy. He doesn't ever get mad at the narrator for leaving the coins. And so that's why you want to eliminate A and actually choose D instead. Because that fits better with Simpere's like personality and just kind of how kind and generous he is towards the narrator.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah. Let me see if I can think of another sentence with the word expects. Um, at school, the teacher expects you to turn in your homework on time.
Mm,
That could be another way that you use it.
mm.
So your teacher really wants and needs you to turn your homework in on time, and if you don't do it, they're probably going to be a little angry with you. Okay, scroll down. So 7. In line 44, wait most nearly means. We'll go to line 44. I always go back and reread for these. So I would do so dragging my feet, a weight on my soul. So your soul is something that's made up, right? It's not real. You can't touch it. Um, and so it's not an actual weight. It's not like something heavy. It's more like a symbolic weight. It's maybe something that is hard or difficult to do. So let's go back and look at the words. Okay, so bulk, this means something that's physically heavy. Like I'm trying to think if I have anything that counts as heavy. I don't know. Behind me I have a box of like kitchen stuff. It's pretty heavy. It weighs maybe like 10 pounds. That would be a bulk
Mm.
of something because it's hard to lift. Um, a burden is something that is like mentally hard. It's something that's difficult to do. And so that will be the answer to this question. A force is like a push or a pull.
Mhm.
And then this word clout. Have you heard it before? This one is very popular on the internet lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like status, right? How much like social power you have, I guess is how you would define it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And this was the one you got right. You also chose B.
Mhm. Yes.
How did you choose that one? Kind of the same process we talked through, or do you use another strategy?
Just like as you said, soul is like, you know, like it's not wait, wait. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
Like it's not wait, wait. So like
Yeah.
burden is
Mhm.
like
Okay. I'm going to throw another vocab word at you that comes up in the SAT sometimes, and I'll type it in the chat because I think the spelling is kind of hard.
okay.
So the word tangible is, have you heard that before? That's
Yeah,
something
tangible.
physical that you can touch. And then the intangible is more something symbolic and it cannot be touched. Um, so I guess to give you an example, a book is a tangible object. You can touch it, you can look at it, you can experience it, everything. But knowledge is intangible. So it's not something that you can actually like touch and, sense with your hands or your eyes or your ears or anything. It's more like something internal from inside. Sometimes these words will come up, so they're good ones to know. Okay, any questions about number 8?
Nope.
Okay, sweet. We'll go to number 9. I'm gonna copy and paste so we can look at both at the same time. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry. Wouldn't let me scroll. Okay. A lifelong friend, and from now on, he's your friend too. So it uses the word friend twice. So once here, and then a second time here. Okay? So who is the friend that Sempere is talking about?
Mm, the Charles Dickens.
Mhm. Yep, exactly. So we know that the answer choice is going to have something to do with Charles Dickens or like the book that the narrator got. Okay, so answer choice A. It's to underline the importance of the narrator's connection to Sempere. So is this about his connection with Sempere or his connection with Dickens?
Dickens.
Dickens, yeah. And so we can X out A. Okay. So B, stress how friendships help the narrator deal with his difficult home situation.
Mm, oh, yeah. Wait,
Kind of.
kinda.
So the narrator does have a difficult home situation. That is true, right? He fights a lot with his dad.
Mhm.
But how does he help himself? Is he friends with the other kids or does he read and write?
Read and write.
He, yeah, he reads and writes. And so this one is partially correct only. Because it's stress how reading helped the narrator deal with his difficult home situation. Books were kind of his escape, not necessarily, being friends with people his own age. Okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
so C, emphasize the emotional connection Sempere feels to reading.
Mm,
You can do a yes,
oh, yes.
a maybe, or a no. Up to you. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, this is a good answer choice. Because a friend is usually someone we are very emotionally connected to, right? So that makes sense. Okay, but we'll check the last one just to be for sure. So D, imply that the narrator's sentiments cause him to make an irrational decision. So what does the word irrational mean?
I don't know. Irrational.
So irrational is something that is crazy or confusing. Um, so for example, maybe it's irrational to believe in ghosts, right? It sounds a little crazy to believe in them. So something irrational is just something crazy, something that doesn't make a lot of sense to us based on facts. Um, and so the narrator's not crazy. He's actually seems pretty intelligent, right? He loves to read and write. And so C is the better answer choice here because it shows that a friendship is a type of emotional connection.
Mhm.
Any questions about this one? Any vocab that you notice in the answer choices?
Mm,
Sentiments, that's kind of
oh,
an
no,
answer choice D.
sentiment.
Yeah. Sentiments is just a fancy word for feelings. To be honest, I don't know why they make the answer choices so complicated. I think they could just say feelings and that would be okay. But for whatever reason, the people who decided to write the test have a bit of a mean side, I guess, with the words they use. I'm
Maybe.
trying to think. Yeah. Anything else? I think that was the main one I noticed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll clear the screen and then go to question 10. After we finish this, I was thinking maybe we'd do the grammar section instead of the reading. just to get some practice there too.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. 10. So which statement best characterizes the relationship between Sampere and Charles Dickens?
No.
Okay. Okay, so answer choice A, what do you think? Yes, no, or maybe?
No.
Yeah, right. Sampere is not a writer, he's a bookseller. He doesn't actually do any writing. Okay, what about B?
Mm, what is a avid? Avid?
Oh, avid.
Avid.
Avid is like very big. So if you're a avid admirer, you're a very big fan. You really like something.
Mm, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, what about C?
Mm, no. It's the narrator,
No. Yep,
not Saint.
perfect. And then last one, D.
Uh, no.
Yeah, he never says that he's the most appreciative reader. He just says that Dickens is a friend, which is more about, showing the emotional connection than anything else. Okay, yeah, so you got this question pretty much down. Were there any like vocab words or things that you found confusing in the answer choices?
Mm, no. No. I don't think so.
Okay, sweet. Um, oh, I guess while we scroll down to the grammar section, we can talk a little bit more about the structure. So there's, I think, usually 4 passages. They usually do one that's a story, like the one we just read. They have usually 2 more that are more scientific, that might have a graph or something that go with them. So here's another scientific one, some graphs. And then a lot of times they'll have something that is historic. So these are some speeches given by politicians from, the 1850s, Civil War. And so that's pretty typical. Usually you'll have a story, you'll have something scientific, and then you'll have something historical. Um, Depending on the person, one section will be harder than the other. So for me, I always thought that the historical were the most difficult, just because they use a lot of like old timey language sometimes. Um, but for other students, they might have a harder time with the story section or with the science section. It just kind of depends. There's a little bit of each. Oh, here's another science one. A lot of science ones in this one.
Ah, I hate science.
I think maybe next class we'll work on the science passage. Okay. So we get started on this. Basically, how this one works is they give you a passage. They have a few mistakes in the passage, and then they'll number it. And then on the side, it'll give you the answer choices. And so basically, how would you replace the underlined word? Would you not replace it? Would you replace it with B, C, or D? That's what it's asking you here. And it does that pretty much for every question. It asks you how you would replace certain words. Um, Sometimes there are ones that are a little bit more complicated. Let's see if they. Oh, actually, I don't think they have a more complicated one here. Yeah, these are just all replacement type questions. That's good. Yep, that's it. So whenever you're ready, you can either read in your head or out loud, whichever's best, and then we'll just kind of go through the questions as we read.
Do I have to read? Like, like back when I was in English, something like studying some kind of, like these kind of problems, like, I just don't read and just like look at the question and do it. Is it like the wrong way, or do I have to read all of
You don't have to. You could just look at the question first and then only read if you feel like it's necessary. That's what I do. But if you have any questions about like vocab or pronunciation of words, it might be helpful to read the whole thing because then I can kind of give you definitions and things like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a little sip of water while you read. My throat gets tired as I talk.
Mm. Oh, wait. So like this, the regardless, it's like wrong, or I thought it was like finding similar vocab, or
Oh, yeah, not quite. So is it no change? So is it wrong? And then B, C, and D, if it is wrong, which word would you
Mm,
replace it with?
okay, now I get it. Oh, can I pick up the call real quick? The government
Oh, yeah,
call. I'm
sure.
sorry.
That sounds important. Go ahead.
Like 여보세요. 네, 아니요, 없어요. 아니요, 없어요. 아니요, 없어요. 아니요, 없어요. 네. Oh, sorry. They call me every
You're
day.
good.
Oh, okay. Uh, oh, it's D.
hmm Yep, perfect. Because they're giving an example of the different categories that you could split it into. Okay. We'll scroll down and then we'll do questions 2, 3, and 4.
Utilize means like, I don't know what.
Oh, used.
Oh, you.
hmm Yeah, just a really fancy way to say the word used.
Oh, fancy ways. Deterring. Deterring? Is it right? Deterring? Oh, deterring.
Oh, deterring. Yep.
It's like,
Um,
I don't know.
mhm. So when you like deter something, you lower it. So if you
Oh,
deter pests, that means that you lower the number of them.
lower. Annihilating? What? Annihilating? Um, oh,
Yeah, so this word is annihilating,
annihilating.
like uh nigh lating like that. And this word is kind of, I don't want to give away the answer choice, but this word means to kill violently.
Oh,
It's very extreme, almost like murdering or something like that, or killing.
annihilating. Like, can I use this word when like playing games or something? Like, oh, I'm annihilating some zombies or something.
Yes, yeah, you can. Perfect.
Oh, okay. Annihilating. Mm, oh, um, eliminating is like the opposite word of annihilating.
Not quite. So eliminating just means to get rid of something.
Oh, well, get rid of something.
This
Mm,
word ousting is very complicated too, I think.
oh, I thought it was outstanding. It's ousting, ousting,
Ousting? Ousting.
ousting.
Yeah, I'll give you the definition of this one because I think there's no way you've heard of it. It's to remove a political leader or a government leader.
Only like
And so
political
let's say,
leader. Yeah.
yeah. And so maybe the military ousts the president. The military gets rid of the government in some battle or something. That would be ousting. It's very like specific to politics and government.
Mm, no change. I think it's no change.
Okay, so this one is actually answer choice B. And the reason why is because we can't kill chemical fertilizers. This is like the special dirt that you put on your plants. So it's already dead. You can't kill it. You can't annihilate it. But we can get rid of it. We can stop using it. And so that's why you want to choose answer choice B. We can't choose A because, again, that talks about actual violence. We can't choose C because there's no politics or government involved. And then we can't choose D because closing the door on something. I'm trying to think about how to describe this. You know, like the conclusion of an essay, how it kind of ends things, but
Hmm.
in a like a not a serious way, just more in like a summarizing way.
Yeah.
Closing the door on something is ending it in like a non-serious way, like summarizing it.
Mm.
That makes sense.
I thought it was
Yeah.
actually closing the door.
So
Closing the.
it can be, but it's also like a common expression that just means to end something. So, let's say you you know you have a friend who does something bad to you. Maybe you're closing the door on that friendship. So you're just kind of ending it gently. You still have those memories. You still have like that summary of the friendship, but the actual friendship itself is over, like it's in the past. Maybe that's a better way to describe this. So closing the door is leaving something in the past. Okay. And then whenever you're ready, let me know what you're thinking about question 3.
Embankments. I don't know what embankments mean.
Oh, embankment. I think this one's easier to just show a picture for. It's kind of like the land that's next to water. That's an embankment.
Oh.
Yeah. This is a pretty good picture. So here's an embankment that's next to a road. Here's one that's next to a dam. Here's another one that's next to a river.
Embankment. It looks the same, like the question A, B, C, D. Like they all look the same to
Uh,
me.
yeah, they're pretty similar. So there's this phrase called parallelism. Um,
Parallel.
so have you heard of like parallel lines like this? They run next to each other, like
Mm-hmm.
parallel. So parallelism basically means that our words need to be similar, right? So I can't say I like swimming, biking, and to read. I should say I like swimming, biking, and reading. So all my words need to have kind of the same ending or they need to have the same tense. And so if we look at this sentence, it says it minimizes with an S, um, increases, and helps. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of this word it. So that way it matches. So minimizes, increases, and helps. So all our words sound similar. They're parallel to each other. They have kind of the same ending, the same beginning. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me show you another example of this parallel structure, because this actually comes up a few times in these SAT questions. So parallel sentence structures. So here's a good example. What counts isn't how you look, but how you behave. So that's parallel. It says how you both times. This is a bad version. You wouldn't want to do the sentence. So what counts isn't how you look, but your behavior. So this is considered like not as good because how you look doesn't really match with your behavior. The words sound different. Over here you have a verb, look. Over here you just have a noun, behavior. And so basically we want the first part of our sentence to match the last part of our sentence. Here's another one. This is similar to what we saw in the test question. So the president promised to reform. So we have a verb, no S or anything. Reform healthcare, preserve Social Security, and balance the budget. So reform, preserve, balance, they all sound the same. They're all verbs without an S or without an ing or without an ed ending. This one sounds a little weird because we say reform, preserve, and balanced. So all of a sudden we add an ed and it kind of breaks the pattern that was in our sentence to make it sound like to a native speaker, it just sounds less good. But if you can't really tell how the word sounds, you can think of how it looks. And so it doesn't look like it follows the same pattern in this example. Whereas here, all the words look pretty similar. You know, they have the same ending.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are actually a lot of test questions like this where it wants you to choose something that's parallel. And so the strategy to these is to read the entire sentence, look at what type of words it's using. Oh, sorry, I'm clicking in the wrong spot. Look at what kind of words it's using and then make sure that they all match. Any questions about parallelism, parallel sentence structures? Okay. Yeah, it's
So
kind of
the
complicated.
answer. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, you were saying?
So so the answer is C, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, perfect. Okay, and then last on this page is question 4.
I actually don't know what this means. This this one?
Oh, the semicolon?
Yeah. I don't know why they use I don't know
Okay,
the meaning.
I'm gonna switch to a whiteboard real quick. Okay, so we have a type of sentence called a compound sentence. Have you heard of this before?
Compound
Okay,
sentence.
so it's basically two sentences put together, and we
Oh.
have we have a few different ways to put it together. So way one, we can use what's called a fan voice. The fancy name for this is a coordinating conjunction. Very complicated word.
Coordinating.
But fan voice stands for for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. So that's the first way that we can combine sentences. The second way is with a semicolon, which is the little symbol that you drew like that. It looks like a period and then a comma. So I'll type in the chat an example. Actually, you know what? I'll just type on the whiteboard. That works too. She likes to read and she likes to go to the movies. So here we have two sentences. One, she likes to read. Two, she likes to go to the movies. So we're putting two sentences together, and so we need a comma and then a fanboys. So here's our comma. Here's our fanboys. We use the word and. Let's say you don't want to use the fanboys. Instead, you can use a semicolon. So she likes to read, semicolon. She likes to go to the movies. So we don't need the word and anymore because we have a semicolon instead, but we still put it in kind of the same place. And basically, this just tells us when we're reading the sentence, like, hey, here's sentence number 1. Take a break for a bit, pause, breathe, and here's sentence number 2. But these are pretty much the same. It's just we can use a comma and then a fanboys, or we can use just a semicolon. It's up to the person writing, basically. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You want to try writing your own fanboy sentence, your own compound sentence in the chat just to get some practice? Sometimes that's helpful.
Yes. Okay. Oh, chat. Ooh. There's chat. Okay.
If it's easier, I can turn on annotation and you could write it if you want to on the whiteboard. Whichever works best.
Is it a right sentence? Like,
Okay, I like to eat and I like to sleep. Yep, that's perfect. You want to rewrite it using a semicolon instead, just to get some practice with that other form?
yep. Is it right sentence?
Okay, I like to eat, semicolon, I like to sleep. Perfect. Okay. Any questions about this?
Nope.
Okay, sweet.
Semicolon. Finally,
Um,
I know how to use semicolon.
yeah, that's good. Honestly, if you don't know how to use it, it's not the end of the world, but it's nice to know. So,
I never know like why
and
is this thing in the keyboard.
yeah, sometimes you use it in coding too. If you've ever had to do like some coding for school, maybe
Coding?
that's how you like, yeah, that's how you encode sometimes is with the semicolon. Yeah.
I don't get it, but okay.
Hopefully you never have to see that. Yeah. Yeah, that's not as fun. I'll show you a picture just so you know I'm not making things up. But if you code in a language like Java, here it is.
No, I don't know
They
what
put a
Java is.
semicolon at the.
Oh,
Neither do I, to be honest with you. It's a language that you can write code in, but they also use semicolons for this. So just like how you use commas for numbers, but also in sentences, you use semicolons for sentences, but also for code. So it shows up in a few different places.
oh, that's so confusing, but okay.
Yeah. Good news is you don't have to worry about the code too much.
Yes.
You shouldn't see it again. Okay, so sorry, we got way up. Well, I guess we were on topic, but we took a little bit of a whiteboard break. So let's see. Back to question 4, I guess.
Mm, B? Actually, I don't know like where to do
B is
the
actually right.
oh, really?
Yeah. Kind of the main idea here is we know it's not a semicolon because we don't have a new sentence.
Mhm.
Not a new sentence. And then you see how we have the parentheses here? So whenever we close the parentheses, we also have to open one. So we need basically these to go together. We can't do just one. And so B is the only answer that has, an open that makes sense with this close. We don't want to choose C because it's missing that parentheses. And the way it's written, in its current form, sorry, this is like, I don't know why my pen is being so weird. And then the way it's written in the current form has the same issue. It has no start of those parentheses. Kind of the rule for these is we just put extra information inside of them. So in large quantities, compost can be converted into a natural gas. That's really all we need. This, you know, expected to be seen when it's for an entire municipality, that's just extra. Those are just details. We don't necessarily need to know them. It's more like a fun fact almost. Like you can still read the sentence without it. Um, have you seen those parentheses before used for like extra information?
In the but like during reading class, like I don't know if I have to read this thing inside, like in play or something. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, Cindy read. And I'm like,
Ah,
do I have to read this part?
that's a very good point. Yeah, so in a play they'll include parentheses too, and that's usually to give information that you don't say out loud. So if a character is like smiling, they'll put that in parentheses. You don't actually say the word smiling. It's just extra
Yeah.
information about like what the character is doing. I'm glad you brought that up because I would not have remembered that. Okay, so we'll scroll down. We'll do 5, 6, and 7.
Compose? I don't really know what to compose.
Oh, so they explained it at the beginning of the passage, but compost is basically like fruits and
Oh,
vegetables that are trash that you use to make into dirt. Here's a good picture.
yeah,
I
I
used
get
to
it.
have a compost bin with worms in it. The one with words in it is called vermicomposting. Here it is. I had little
Whoa.
worms like this.
Do you play with worms? Because I used to do that. Like,
When I was a kid, yes, but also I took a science class in high school, environmental science, where we had to do this. And so I had worms for, that class. There
hmm.
were a lot of them. It was kind of, I don't know, it's a little gross sometimes.
It is.
Yeah, but that's compost basically, making dirt from trash.
Oh, oh, number 5. Is it a math?
Sorry, is it a what?
Math? It looks like math.
Oh, yes, include information from the graph. Um, Here, you know what? Let me actually pull up a copy of this so that way you can see the graph and the words at the same time. I think that'll be helpful. Sorry, I have like a billion tabs open on my computer. Okay, there's the graph that it's talking about.
I don't get it. Wait, so
Okay.
EPA? Mhm.
Okay, so the EPA is not as important as this. So the description of compost. So what is compost? Is it metal? Is it rubber and leather? Is it textiles? This is like fabric, like clothes. Or is it food waste?
Um, food waste.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. It's bits of fruits and vegetables, basically, that we can turn into dirt. And so we want to choose D. We don't really have to know what the EPA is. We just have to know that compost is made from food waste. And if you didn't know the definition of compost, if you scroll up a little bit, uh, Oh, sorry. Scrolling's not working very well. Here it is. It says compost, organic matter, such as food scraps, so food waste, and yard debris, so like grass cuttings from your yard. And so if you didn't know what compost was, you could look it up in the passage.
Mm.
Any questions about that one? Does that make sense? Oh, and I guess also important to know is this is where they got the 33 from. Right there on the
Oh,
graph. Oh, that looks like a 32. 33. There we go. Okay.
okay.
I'm gonna clear the screen, and then it looks like question 6 is also based on the graph. And then we'll end at question 6, and then I'll leave 7 through 10 for you to work on independently.
Food waste. See.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, because that's our highest category, right? We have more food waste than anything else. And that also ties back to our main idea of compost, right? Because metal is not really compost. And yard waste is compost, but it's a very small amount. And if you look at it, it's less than wood, metals, paper, and plastics.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about this?
Nope.
Okay, so just on your own, remember to do questions 7 through 10 of this writing and language test section. And then I will make actually the answer key I sent Linda, it's still the same exam booklet, so you can use the same answer
Mhm.
key. Just make sure to look at the writing section. Yeah, that's about all I can think of. Any questions for me? You feel pretty set on what to do on your own?
Oh, no.
Okay. If you want some more practice, you can make a Khan Academy account, and
Yeah, Conic.
it is completely free. And they actually
Mhm.
work with the people that write the SAT, and so they give you real
Oh,
test questions. And so that is 100% the best website to use to study for this.
oh, no kidding. Okay. Thank
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And if you end up doing Khan Academy and like you have a question that you don't understand, you don't get where the answer comes from, you can always ask me about it when we meet up and I can help you out, hopefully. Okay.
you.
Yeah, no problem. But hang in there. Enjoy your last few days of quarantine before you're free.
Uh, yeah. Cool.
Okay. Well, oh, sorry, my headphone fell out. I'll let you go, but have a nice day and I'll see you later.
Thank you. See
You're
you
welcome.
later.
Bye.
Bye.